Hello, it's Tim from Phoebe Additive. Today we're going to be showing you how to use V-Spooler. If you've already got your clamp in the middle of your V-Spooler, please take it out, rotate it clockwise while holding the spindle, and it should just come out. Loosen the outer retainer on the spool clamp so that there is some room to attach it to the spool. Use the spindle that matches your spool type. Here I'm using an extruder spool, so I'm using the extruder spindle, and I've placed it in the middle securely over the spindle. Now we're just going to slide the spool clamp into the middle of the spindle and rotate it counterclockwise to lock it in, and then we rotate the outer retainer counterclockwise until it's reasonably tight, but we're going to finish it off by holding the handle in the middle of the spindle so that we do not break anything. I like to snip off the end of my filament before feeding into the PTFE tube. It just cuts down on the friction and the wear a little. Make sure your carrier is on the left or right side of your cam, depending on where the holes are in your spool that you intend to spool to. We're also going to check that the spool runs evenly on the rollers at the bottom. Sometimes spools are uneven if they've been dropped, and it's nice to prevent some damage by using a spool that runs true. Now we're just going to start by placing our spool on top of V-Spooler and threading the filament through the PTFE tube. Now if you watch me thread it through, you'll notice that the filament naturally curls around the spool, and you should find it waiting for you on the other side, ready to thread into a hole. Now we're going to feed the filament into one of the holes on the side of the spool that lies with the carrier on the cam. I usually thread this in, try and bend it over a little bit so it catches, and then run the spool round twice to secure the filament. Now we're just going to insert our drill and start respooling our plastic. Some guidelines here: if you haven't used some lubrication on the cam, you should probably keep your speed down. I find that 120 to 180 RPM, that's 2 or 3 revolutions per second, is probably about as fast as you want to go. Otherwise you're probably going to damage the tooth and have other problems. Here this video is sped up by 16 times, and you definitely do not want to be spooling this fast. Otherwise, if you have some lube on the cam, you can maybe go a bit faster, but be aware that more speed is going to be more wear, and it's more likely it's going to break, and if it breaks it's going to be not very pleasant to fix, so please go slowly. Another tip is to try and keep your speed as constant as possible while respooling. If you stop or vary the speed, that's when you tend to have problems with filament coming a bit loose. I like to also cut off the last bit of filament. It's usually got a kink in it, and it's nice to keep the PTFE tube nice. Here we can see the filament is actually spooled fairly evenly. I mean, it's not like it's come off a professional machine, but I'm quite happy with this quality. There are kind of two schools of thought about how to take it off. Some people like to rotate the last bit out with the clamp on side and attach it there. I find that really awkward, so I like to actually undo the clamp. Do remember this is a reverse thread. Making sure not to pull the filament out of the PTFE tube and have your spool unwind. Pull it out and just grab the filament on the other side. And poke it through the hole on your spool so that it's retained, and there you go. Thank you for watching.